Did everybody forget this storyline and the message that Tyler Perry was telling us? Blow me mind all the time. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Karrington, and I want to thank you all for checking out this video. So I wanted to jump on board to some commentary real quick because I see a lot of reviews that have been put out recently for Tyler Perry's movie A Fall from Grace. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. If you do have an account, you can definitely check it out, or you can check out the reviews here on YouTube. There's countless reviews who point out the awful things of that movie. While that movie was rushed and it did have definitely some negative aspects to it, the wigs, the continuity errors, and just some of the rushed things that we see in that film, overall, I don't think A Fall from Grace was Tyler Perry's worst film. Yes, there were some issues, but overall it was a good storyline and I did like the ending. I thought it was a good film to watch. It was pretty entertaining, mistakes and all, bad wigs and all. But here's one movie that in my opinion people are forgetting about, and it's actually Tyler Perry's worst film. And for me, that would have to be Tyler Perry's Temptation, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. I know that this film is kind of old, I guess. It's been out for years. It stars Jeremy Smollett-Bell, who plays our main character Judith, and Lance Gross, who plays Bryce. There are a few reasons why I do not like that movie. Yes, Temptation was in theaters, and I felt it could have been a good movie, but for me it was mainly the ending. But for those of you who may have forgotten what the film was about, I'm just going to give a quick recap. Okay, so the film starts off with a white couple sitting in a marriage counselor's office, and sees a very gray, gloomy scene. You know, they have that gray filter on there to get make us understand, okay, we get it. This is pretty sad right here. Okay. The couple's fighting, the husband exit, and the marriage counselor can see that this woman, her client, is having an affair. So she decides to tell her a story about her sister, aka her, aka Judith, our main character. Now, some people, I guess, didn't seem to understand that although that is a different actress who is playing Judith, and Tyler Perry did that for purposes that he didn't want his audience to guess right away that the marriage counselor was talking about herself. So they did use another actress, Candace Koch, I believe was her name. Although she is telling the story about her sister, that is in fact Judith. So I don't understand how some people didn't get that, but yes, Judith is telling her story. We see that Judith met her husband Bryce when they were kids. You know, they became high school sweethearts, got married young, and they were greatly in love, moved to a new city together, and they're ready to live happily ever after. Of course, though, this is a Tyler Perry film. That's not how it's going to work. So Judith's dream is to open up her own firm as a marriage counselor. That is her dream, but unfortunately, right now, you know, as many of us are going through it now, with job searching, you know, she's not working that right now. She is working for a matchmaking service, but she doesn't love her job, obviously. Bryce's dream is to open up his own pharmacy, and although he's not working at his own pharmacy right now, he is working with a pharmacy, so he is doing something that he loves to some extent. She has a job that she doesn't love. She's miserable, doesn't like the matchmaking service, really. Vanessa Williams is her boss, and I love Vanessa Williams, but why did she have to do the French accent? Like, they make a joke about it at the end, saying how, oh, you know, you were in France for 2 weeks and now you have this accent. Okay, we get it, but like, I don't know, I just thought, I was like, really? Does she have to do that? Okay, fine. You know, she's working there, matchmaking service. All of a sudden, in walks in Mr. Smooth Talker, what's his name? Harley, played by Robbie Jones. I might call him Mr. Smooth Talker because for some reason I just kept forgetting the name Harley. But anyways, apparently he's really big in the social media industry, and he's this millionaire, and he's a super rich guy. He walks into Vanessa Williams' office and he's looking to possibly invest in her company. But he sees Judith and is like, I want to work with you. And Judith was like, okay, why? You know? As the film goes on, of course, we start to see how Judith's husband, Bryce, is not really encouraging encouraging and not really too supportive. Like, he supports her, but he's not very motivating when it comes to Judith. You know, she's mentioning how she does not like her job, and he's like, well, babe, you know, you can't start doing what you want to do yet because we have our 10 to 15 year plan, and we gotta follow the plan before you can think about starting your own marriage counseling company. And she's just like, anybody would hear that and be like, 10 to 15 years? I gotta wait at least 10 years to start my dreams. So we see this other point in the film where Judith and Bryce go out on a date, that he takes her out to eat. They're coming back from dinner, walking towards their car. They're walking past a whole group of guys, and they start catcalling her, talking about her booty, talking about her body, and Judith gets upset. So she starts cursing them out, and Bryce is like, Judith, like, get in the car, ignore them, let's get in the car, what are you doing? And Bryce gets upset at Judith for defending herself. Judith was upset that night, and she was like, why did I feel like I wasn't protected? And he tries to apologize, and, you know, it's just like, yeah, okay, sure. So then we have another point where he forgets her birthday. Now, there is a point in the film where Judith tells us that they have known each other for 19 years, since they were kids. They have been married for 6 years, and this was the second year in a row that he forgot his wife's birthday. I'm sorry, but how? I just have to question how that could even be a thing, because with today's technology, there's no way you should be forgetting anyone's birthday, number one. And number two, if you guys have known each other for almost 20 years, I just don't see how he would forget her birthday. Like, that's supposedly the love of his life. What are you doing that you forget your own wife's birthday? Her husband, after forgetting her birthday, Harley remembers her birthday, and he sends her a bunch of flowers, and he's like, did you get the flowers? So, you know, we have her husband who forgets her birthday, but this nice smooth talking guy who remembers her birthday. So already, you know, it's like, wow, I feel appreciated. Harley remembers her birthday, appreciates her, is very encouraging, and really is pushing her to go after her dreams. And he turns her on by a simple conversation. He makes it very clear to Judith that he's interested in her and he wants to be with her. But Judith is like, you know, obviously I'm very married. So fast forward, eventually Judith and Harley go on this business trip to New Orleans, I think. So they have to take a flight there. So they're coming back on the flight. You know, it's his own little private jet, I guess. She's all like wined and dined. And this is the part... this is the part when we see, oh gosh, it's about to go down. Harley brings up his past relationship and why he was so hurt. He's mentioning, you know, how in love he was with her, and she gets an insight to see how, you know, how badly he's been hurt because his ex-girlfriend left him just out of the blue. She couldn't take the wine and dine. She didn't appreciate the private jets and whatnot. And I'm just like, really? Okay. Start talking. He's saying all the right things. And then he's like, Judith, I'm so attracted to you. Do you want me? And she didn't say anything. So he leans over to go in for a kiss. And this is the part that I'm just like, are we not going to talk about how he basically forced himself onto her? No? Right? Okay, so, you know, it's Tyler Perry's gonna do that. She's clearly saying no. She's saying no. Get off me. I'm married. So then he stops her and he's like, okay, now you can say that you resisted, but now let me do what I'm gonna do. So at that point, she's like not fighting anymore, and then he kisses her. She comes back home. He's dropping her off, and she's like, I never want to see you again. So we come to find out, yeah, they did the deed. Okay, yeah. The movie goes on. Her mom discovers that she's sleeping with the guy, or her mom knows what's going on. Bryce doesn't. He's still clueless at this point. And the mother's like, that boy is gonna take you to hell. And she's like, I'll enjoy the ride. And it's just like, who are you? Like, where is this coming from? One thing I didn't like about this film, I felt like the sex scenes were lacking. Like, you know, Tyler Perry is trying to show us that she's having sex with Harley in the bathtub, but it's just like, like the scene just shows steam. That's all you see. And then like the outline of two bodies. And I was like, okay, I get this is PG-13, but you could have made it somewhat like spicier, you know, a little something. It took Bryce quite some time for him to realize that she was hooking up with this dude and having an affair. And I'm just like, how slow are you, Bryce? Like, come on. I can't believe that Judith would be this stupid, just because we start to see some serious red flags with Harley. They're running together in the park, and this biker accidentally runs into her because honestly Judith wasn't looking. She just starts running and somehow she wasn't looking where she was going, and so this biker runs into her accidentally. So Harley wants to like fight the dude, and you know the guy's like, oh, I'm so sorry, he's already trying to make sure Judith is okay, but Harley's like, no man, no. It was so ridiculous. And I'm like, that's not normal. Okay, it was clearly an accident. Why is he fighting this dude? That's not normal. We also have another character in this film played by Brandy. I think she plays Melinda. Melinda is this woman who gets hired at the pharmacy that Bryce works at. She's kind of suspect a little bit because she's always, anytime she's leaving the store, she's has her hood over her head. Anytime she's leaving or coming in, she stays pretty low. Eventually she tells Bryce that she is on the run from a crazy ex-boyfriend. Spoiler alert, it's Harley, aka Mr. Smooth Guy, aka the one that's seducing Bryce's wife, Judith. And it just doesn't make sense to me that it would take this long for his name to come up, because she doesn't reveal his name until the end of the movie, and it was like so random when you watch the movie. Like, Melinda and Bryce have a friendship, nothing romantic, just a straight friendship. And it seems, you know how you are with coworkers, you vent to them a lot. So to me, it just doesn't seem reasonable that Bryce himself would have never even mentioned Harley's name when he started to see his wife spending a lot of time with Harley. Tyler Perry has some serious continuity issues. He needs to figure that out. I will say, you see it in A Fall from Grace, and you definitely saw it back in this movie. So we see that Lance has tears on his face. One minute he doesn't have tears. One minute he's looking at his wife, and you see maybe he's about to cry. Then all of a sudden the camera cuts back, straight up tears. Then it cuts back to her, back to him. He still has the tears. Cuts back to her, cuts back to him when he's leaving, and he's like, fine, I'm leaving. There's no tears. Like, it's like his face is dry. And I'm just like, fast forward. You know, Bryce is talking to Melinda, aka Brandy, and he's telling Brandy, like, do you think you'll ever find love again? I hope you meet a really good guy. And she's just out of nowhere. It was just so random. She's just like, Bryce, I have HIV. And he's just like, oh my God. And I'm just like, so are you trying to tell us that because someone has HIV that they're not going to meet a good guy? That she can't move on and have a healthy relationship? She can't have a good relationship? She won't find love again? Linda is a longtime ex of Harley, and she makes it known that that's where she contracted her HIV. You know, he was not, he was sleeping around during their relationship, and he was abusive physically. So Bryce is like, oh my God, my wife, I have to go save my wife. So he goes to Harley's house, picks up Judith out of the bathtub, and she's like, Bryce, her face is all beaten up, and she's looking at Bryce like, Bryce, can we fix it? Can we fix it? And he was like, yeah. Knowing damn well, like, there is some serious damage in that relationship. She was getting ready to leave his ass. So he puts her in the truck, and then he goes and he punches out Harley, and Brandy comes in and stops him, and she's like, you're gonna kill him. So then Harley's like, Karen? And she's like, yeah, it's me, Karen. It just cuts there, the story, and then we're back to the marriage counselor, aka Judith. Even though it's a different actress, it is in fact Judith, not Judith's sister. That wouldn't even make sense. The white woman that she was talking to, her client, is like, wow, okay, after hearing that story, I'm definitely gonna cut off the affair and stick with my husband. And I was like, okay, that was like really rushed to say that, but okay. So she's like asking the marriage counselor, you know, what happened to Judith. And the marriage counselor's like, you know, her story is still being written. But yes, she did catch HIV. Bryce did not. Number one, from even that scene, it's just like, okay, so here we have the black woman who struggled through everything, now advising her white client to go and fix her marriage. And the white client gets to go off and she's going to have a beautiful rest of her marriage. I'm sure her marriage will be saved. I'm not trying to say that this is a racial thing, but I did just find that scene a little suspect. Like, why choose to have a white client sitting there and it's the black woman who has to tell her struggle to the white client so that the white person is going to be fine, continue living a great life for sure. That's what we're probably getting from it. Her marriage is going to be saved and she's going to live happily. But the black woman has to go through the struggle. See, Judith did not get her dream of opening up her own marriage counseling firm. If you go back to the beginning of the movie, if you pay attention to the details, she's sitting in a social services office, in a social services building, and she has her own little office as a marriage counselor. But she didn't open up her own big firm like she wanted to and have her own practice as a marriage counselor. She didn't get to do that. So are you telling us that people with HIV can't live out their dreams? Or is Tyler Perry telling us that as a black woman who committed infidelity, had an affair, yes, it was wrong, and I am not condoning that. I'm not saying that that's okay. But are you really trying to tell us now that if you cheat, you're also not going to get a good career? You're not going to get your dream career? Your career's over? So we see Judith limping because I guess people with HIV have a limp. No, but okay. I'm just like, why does she have to have a limp? It's not like she's a grandma age. We're not sure how old she is at this point, but we can assume, you know, probably 40s, I would say, maybe. So she goes to walk to a pharmacy, into Bryce's pharmacy, because she asks, Brandy was still working there, and it was a far shot, but to me it looked like Brandy didn't age at all. And then we see Bryce with his terrible wig that it literally looks like somebody just put some baby powder in that wig. Like, come on, Tyler Perry. So we're left to assume that he's definitely older. Not sure how old again he's supposed to be because Tyler Perry doesn't tell us. By that wig, I would say, I guess he's trying to tell us he's like 50. Which I don't really know, but Judith still looked pretty young. So I would have said like mid-40s max, but not even. Like, Judith looked young still. So we're maybe hoping like, okay, did they actually repair their marriage? I mean, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of stuff to unpack, and I don't really know how her marriage could be saved after that because Judith did some crazy stuff, okay? No, she is picking up her medication from Bryce. Got divorced, understandable. And then right as she's walking out, in walks his new wife, who definitely looks younger, so I was confused. In walks his new wife and son. So we see that Bryce has now happily moved on, is living his happily ever after with a beautiful wife and child, and he owns his own pharmacy, so he got to live out his career and his dream. And we see Judith is alone with HIV, getting medication from her husband, from her now ex-husband, with a limp as she's walking to go meet her mother at church. Did everybody forget this storyline and the message that Tyler Perry was telling us? I'm confused on what he was trying to tell us. Now, not only are you telling us black women that if you cheat on your husbands, you will no longer have a career, you won't reach your dreams, you will get HIV, but you will also most likely die alone and see how your husband has happily moved on. I don't get it. Make it make sense. And that, for me, when I saw that ending, I was pissed. I was done. I said, Tyler Perry, you have got to be kidding me. I enjoy watching Tyler Perry's films for the most part. And although he has done some crap when it comes to black women, the way that they're portrayed in films, I do not think he hates black women, because he does give them opportunities in Hollywood. Like we've seen it with Taraji P. Henson. Don't get me started on Acrimony. We won't even go there, because Acrimony is in its own lane, and that movie was bad. What was the message of this? You are telling us black women, if you cheat on your husband, you're gonna contract HIV. You're not gonna get your dream career. You're not gonna reach your career that you had this whole life set up for. You're gonna get divorced, and you're gonna die alone with a limp. What the heck was he thinking when creating this ending? Like, was there no one who decided to stop and say, hey, this might not be the way that we should go? I just think that there was so much wrong in that film when it came to that ending. It literally made me want to throw my laptop into the corner, which I didn't, of course not. Oh, there are some people who really enjoyed this film, and I'm surprised, because I'm like, did we watch the same movie? Did you watch the ending? The ending for me is what made it a terrible movie. That for me can just cancel out the rest of the film. I didn't like the message of the film. I think it was just a really bad portrayal for black women, and also for people with HIV. I think it was just really insensitive, and it's as if he was telling people with HIV that their lives are over, when, especially with today's technology, today's medication, we've seen how people who do have HIV can live a somewhat comfortable, healthy lifestyle. You know, they can live a life. I get it. If you cheat, there will be consequences, and karma is a thing. But to that extent, come on. If you stuck with me to the end of this video, kudos to you, because I know how to talk, and I'm not the greatest at recapping, because sometimes I either will say too much or go out of order. But thank you so much for watching this video. Those are my thoughts on one of Tyler Perry's worst films, in my opinion. What are some of your opinions? You can let me know in the comments below. I want to thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Be sure to check out my music. Again, I have a new song coming out very soon, When in Barcelona. I will leave a description in the box. I always say that. I will leave a link in the description box below, and I will see you guys in the next video.